Well, I don't get people sometimes. I really don't. The absolute rudeness of some people, that I almost grabbed this woman's phone out of her hand and turned it off. Because you just have to see it to believe it. So, on my last cruise, I was sitting in the second row because the front row is mostly blocked for mobility issue people. They have the handicap sign on it. Please don't sit in these seats, leave it for them. And by the time the show starts, the seats in front of me were still empty, but I stayed in my second seat. I'd like to move to the front, but I stayed there. And you can see the performers are up on stage, and the cruise director's already come out, said his speech, and started the show. So it's not like the lights just went off. It's literally into the show. The cruise director's already talked and gone off stage and walked out of the theater, and the show has started. And I'm going to show you a photo here of the person who came and sat directly in front of me. And you can see in the background that the show is going on. The dancers have been up there for about 4 or 5 minutes dancing, and she came in and sat down in front of me. Now, what you might notice, close to her left-hand cheek, you can just make out her cell phone. And she is having a full-blown conversation on FaceTime with somebody. The other person's on the phone and they're talking to each other in the front row of the theater as if they're in their bedroom, in their house by themselves. And then everybody around just starts looking, going, what the heck are you doing? You're on the phone, the production's going on, and you came and you sat in the front row to do this. Meanwhile, we're literally 12 feet away from the lower exit of the theater, where there's a huge long hallway, where she just could have walked out into that hallway and done her conversation without disturbing anybody. But no, not this lady. She had to sit down in the front row and carry on that conversation. And then I guess she kind of realized, oh, wait a minute, people are giving me dirty looks and everything, and or she finished her conversation, maybe she just didn't care at all, and you saw the FaceTime go off, and I thought, okay, well, finally, it's over, we can start to see the show and hear the show and everything's good. No, that wasn't the end of it. That wasn't the end of it. She actually then got on her WhatsApp, and instead of typing into her phone the conversation she wants to have, she's dictating it to the phone. She's doing the voice chat into the phone, sending the message. Again, front row of the theater, the performance is going on, and everyone's around her. And at this point, I am just livid. I am outright livid that she started doing this now. And it was going on and on and on. And I was just to the point where I was just about to go and just say, look, either leave the theater or turn the damn phone off, lady. Like, I was getting very frustrated with this lady, and so was everybody around her. When 2 other ladies came in, now the only seats available in the front row were directly on either side of her, both handicapped chairs. And one came over and just sat in the other handicapped chair, and the other one was about to go sit in the other one on the other side of her, when she goes, oh, as if, oh my God, somebody's going to sit beside me. She gets up, she moves to remember, the performance is going on. Dancers are also on the floor dancing just a few feet away in the center of this theater. And she goes over, walks past them while they're trying to dance, gets over to the other side of the theater, and again sits down in the front row, and I see her still doing this into her phone, carrying on that conversation, dictating into the phone. And I can just look at the other people around her. Now, on that side of the theater where she sat, there wasn't quite as many people. But again, she was literally 5 feet at that point away from the hallway exit, where she just could have walked out and done her conversation without disturbing anybody else in the theater. I mean, she wasn't watching the show. There's no way you're watching the show when you're doing this. Like, really? How much of the show are you watching when you're doing this? How much? I don't understand. How can some people be so rude? Not only are you being rude to the passengers around you, you're being absolutely ignorant to the performers who are trying to perform. You're not watching the show. You're disrupting the theater. You're talking loudly. And you're holding your phone up in front of your face like the entire time that you're there. This went on for like 10 minutes. And then finally, she got up and she left. But the funny part is, she was done her conversation. She put her phone away, sat there for a minute, looked at the show, and then got up and left. I don't get it. I don't understand people. And literally, I tell you, I was getting, like, my nephew Paul will tell you, I was sitting in that seat, like, because she was directly in front of me. And this theater is loud. Like, when you're sitting in the front row, those speakers are right there, and it's a loud show, and yet I still heard her more than I could hear the singers on stage. And I tell you, let alone take the phone, I almost just went on the back of her head. Like, oh, come on. Have some common sense. But oh my goodness, that was absolutely, absolutely crazy. And no, the conversation certainly didn't sound like it was something urgent. There was no medical emergency. There was no crisis going on. It was a casual conversation. In case you were wondering. No, because I could hear every word she said. And the big thing I'm wondering is, why? Why, oh why, oh why, could I hear every word she said? Just get up and leave. Sometimes the worst part of cruising is unfortunately people like this.